winners. Let the pros show you how to make money. General Manager Al DeMarco, a regular contributor on Fox Sports, MSNBC, and Comcast Sports TV, brings over 25 years of handicapping experience to the table. CEO Steve Budin, the author of Bets, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, is the man responsible for creating the online betting industry. Together, they lead PickNation.com, your #1 source for winners.
After being caged for a week, the underdogs were back on the prowl last week in the NFL, going 10-6 versus the odds makers, 6 of those puppies winning outright. Now, the past 6 weeks, the underdogs are 52, 35, and 2 against the spread. And as I always say, guys, when the dogs are that successful, only 2 things are happening. They're both bad. Sports books and bookmakers are rolling in the dough. Gamblers, on the other hand, generally they're losing their shirts. And why, you ask? Because it's basic human nature. Bettors naturally gravitate toward the favorites. And don't think for a minute that odds makers don't factor that into their decisions when posting the point spreads. Hi everyone, I'm Al DeMarco. With me, Steve Budin. And every single Sunday and Monday throughout the football season, we're joining you with our pregame show as we break down key games from a gambling perspective. 4 games we're going to be isolating today. Great one in Indianapolis. The Colts going for their 22nd consecutive regular season win against a suddenly red-hot Denver squad once more. Meanwhile, Baltimore bouncing back, maybe, after that Monday night loss, taking on the Detroit Lions. New Orleans, lucky to still be undefeated after that Washington Redskins
game.
Game.
Better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, that's the truth.
They're both.
Yeah, exactly, after that Redskins overtime win 33-30 in Atlanta. And meanwhile, Giants and Eagles, huge NFC East clash. That one we're saving for last, virtual pick'em game. Now, before we get started, a few more numbers, though, for you to digest. Entering Week 14 action, 192 games on the books this season. The Pups clinging to a slim 8-game edge at the cashier's window in Vegas. They're 99, 91, and 2 against the spread on the season. Home teams 10-6 versus number last week, but the road teams still have the upper hand versus the point spread on the season, with a season-to-date mark of 100 wins, 90 losses, and 2 pushes. Finally, those straight-up winners, guys, they continue to be money in the bank. 12-4 for the 2nd consecutive week, 151, 39, and 2 against the spread during the regular season. By the way, throw in the preseason, those straight-up winners, 207 wins, 44 losses, 6 pushes. That's 83%. If you were able to magically pick the straight-up winners, you got the point spread winners. As we said, if it was that easy, we wouldn't be here. We'd all be in Vegas betting on these games.
That's for sure.
Now,
we're in Vegas anyway.
That's true, but you'd all be with us. Hey, now let's kick it off with our first game today between Indianapolis and Denver. Now, the Colts here laying about a touchdown at home, of course, remaining undefeated with that 27-17 win against Tennessee last week. And that final score, Steve, was really deceiving because it was a game in which the Colts were up handily, 27-10 at halftime in that one, rolled to the easy win. Meanwhile, Denver, 2 straight wins, upsetting the Giants. I had them on Thanksgiving night at home, and then last week just shellacked Kansas City on the road at Arrowhead, 44-13. So you've got suddenly a resurgent Denver Broncos team against a very hot Colts team.
Both of us had Denver last week as our free pick, best bet here on the show. But more importantly, we always say our picks on the website, the plays that we actually play ourselves. Last 6 NFL plays, I'm now 5-1, and I'm looking to keep that momentum going this week. The Denver Broncos with a healthy Kyle Orton, back in the saddle again, won their last 2 games against the Giants and Chiefs by a combined 51 points. But I got some bad news for you, Mr. McDaniels. You ever played a game blackjack? Because you're about to head to Indy and face a Colts team that's won 21 straight regular season games. Some bettors worried that the Colts have already locked up the AFC South and might start taking it easy, resting their starters for the playoffs. But unfortunately for the Broncos, that ain't going to happen. Al, like I always say, I'm going to call up Geico here again, take that ½ point. Even though I haven't been able to use it all year, I'm going to take it now and lay the 6.5 with the Colts. Okay, so you're going to go with the Colts. Hey, listen, Denver, as you noted, coming off the wins against the Giants and Kansas City, convincing wins, not only by a 70-19 margin in terms of points, but I like the way they totally dominated in terms of offensively. 786 total yards. The defense
which struggled a little bit during that 4-game losing streak, gave up only 489 yards in those 2 games. But of the 786 yards, I like the way the Broncos ran the ball. 383 yards on the ground, averaging 4.5 yards per game, per carry in those 2 games. And, you know, Indianapolis is shown to be susceptible to the run this year, giving up 4.2 yards per carry. They're only 18th in the league stopping the run. So I think that Denver is going to be able to run the ball here effectively. The only downside I would have to at least caution everybody out there, it is their 2nd straight road game. Not exactly an enviable place to have the Broncos, but keep this in mind. You know, the Colts are 1-5 against the spread after playing Tennessee over the past 3 years. Denver, 5-3, both straight up and against the spread as an underdog this season. I've got to differ with you. I think this line is too generous. I think this is a 3 to 4 point game. I'm going to go the other way with Geico. I'm going to buy up to half point. I'm going to back Denver for the 2nd straight week. I don't like them, though. I have to be honest with you, as much as I liked the Broncos last week when I thought they'd kill Kansas City, but I do like them here plus the 7.5 points. So I'm going to go the opposite way. Now, our last game here, this first segment of the show, is going to be Baltimore and Detroit. I know we both had Baltimore going against Baltimore on Monday night with the Packers coming through. Ravens coming off that 27-14 Monday night loss in Lambeau. Meanwhile, the Lions, well, best we can say about them, at least they covered at Cincinnati, getting 13.5 points. They got the cash in a 23-13 loss. And that's about the only good thing I can say about the Lions going into this game.
Look, this is not a game I'm going to be dialing up on the DirecTV, but I can see why some bettors may want to make a play. The Ravens got spanked by the Packers on Monday night, a game that all my customers cashed in on as my most successful betting crew. The Baltimore Crew improved their 3-year record to an industry-leading 18-4 for 640 dimes of total profit. Now this Ravens team returns home off a short week to host Detroit, but I still can't bring myself to bet on the Lions. Not today, not on Christmas, never. If the Ravens are going to get a wild card berth, they need this game like Tiger Woods needs a prenup. So give me the Ravens here, minus the big wood. I think they're going to get a double-digit blowout.
I like that one, Tiger Woods and the prenup. Okay.
Every now and then I come up with a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, listen, first thing for the Lions, you know, Dante Culpepper is expected to start, and I say expected because the last time he was expected to start, suddenly he didn't start,
right.
Matt Stafford started. So, but it's supposed to be Dante Culpepper today. We'll see. But listen, the Lions have lost 19 consecutive games straight up on the road. They're 6-12-1 against the spread in that stretch. More importantly, they've lost those games by an average score of 36-16. They're 2-6 against the spread as a double-digit dog this year. They're number 19 versus the run, giving up 4.1 yards per carry. So I think Ray Rice and company, they should be able to establish the ground game early. Even worse, they are number 32. Now, there's only 32 teams in the league, guys. They are number 32 in the league when it comes to stopping the pass. They're giving up 70% completions, 275 yards a game. Their secondary has been torched this year for 28 touchdown passes, only 8 interceptions. Now, I know Joe Flacco. Thank you, Joe Flacco, for being pathetic on Monday night. 15 for 36, 137 yards.
Made it scary a little bit for, you know.
Exactly. Well, the Packers' interceptions made it scary. Yeah. But he was pathetic on Monday night. But I even think that Joe Flacco can come around and have a good game here. Baltimore is 3-0 against the spread as a double-digit favorite this year, winning those games on average 29-9. My caution in this game, though, Baltimore 1-5 straight up, 0-6 against the spread off their last 6 Monday night games. But if you're going to play it, you got to lay it. So I agree with you. You have to go with Baltimore in this one. Listen, guys, we're going to take a short break. We're going to talk about a couple of gambling misconceptions when we return in just a moment.